What is going on, guys? My name is Richard. Today, welcome back to the channel. And in this video, excuse the voice because my throat's a little bit sore, but jumping straight into things here, I need to make this video to kind of level with you guys on a few things. More so some projects, and this is half an apology video, half an explanation video, because some of these things could actually still happen at some point, just not when I said they would. If you'll notice, every trailer I've ever released for anything has always been labeled soon. Excuse me, but they've always been labeled soon when I could have easily just put a date on there, which I'm glad I never did, because the whole soon thing just leaves it open to interpretation, and I could easily sit here in front of this camera and lie and say, I'm working hard on this and that, and that, oh, don't worry, that thing I announced 3 years ago is totally still happening. But no. This video is gonna just be a short one. I'm sorry that something like this has to interrupt the regularly scheduled program of this channel. But this is going to be mostly an unedited video, if not fully unedited, as it's just more of a this is what's going on kind of video, and less of a, ooh, I'm going to be wacky and jump around and make jokes and stuff like my usual content. So, yeah, let's just jump straight into things. Alright, first thing I want to explain to you guys, Skullheim, that Minecraft animated series thing I was going to work on. That was a mercy killing on my part. That was honestly a mercy killing because, one, the animation in the trailers took me like 4 days to do, and if you saw the trailer that came out for that, it was literally like maybe 3 seconds of looping animation, and then that was it. But like, it's mostly just because the animation software was garbage and it was very intuitive and very easy to use. It's just very cumbersome in the way that everything's super tedious to do. Like, it's very open source and very user friendly. Like, hey, if you've never animated anything in 3D before, here you go, here's a bunch of stuff, here's a bunch of tools on how you can manipulate that stuff. But it's just the way some of like the mechanics worked in that kind of threw me off a bit. And yeah, and I probably should have said this at the beginning before I already got one topic in. If you're not really interested and don't really care, go ahead and click off of this video, because I couldn't care less, really. But, yeah, I mean, if this isn't your thing, I'm sorry, we're not getting a second video this week. But I'm working on other videos and stuff, and, yeah. But anywho, the Skullheim project isn't happening, at least not in the way I said it was. If I ever do end up doing something like that, I might do it as like a 2D animated series, or even like an audio-based series. I've dabbled with that. But, or maybe even something live action. Who knows? If I can actually get the people together to actually do it, then I might do it in live action and kind of rework the script to fit around that. But in the meantime, consider that canceled / in production, because it may or may not eventually happen, but as of this particular moment, I've yet to find a stable way to do it. Alright, moving on to Filmmakers, the movie, the thing that I said I was going to make and that I'm still making. Well, quote-unquote making. It's still very much in pre-production. Like, I'm still scripting, and every now and again, I'm going to be honest with you, none of these things that I'm talking about in this video I've diligently worked toward doing, except for maybe one. But every now and again, I'll write a few pages of that script, and then I'll get bored of it and get distracted and go off and do something else and come back, realize that the first few pages of that script are absolute garbage, rewrite it completely. And so it's constantly just been in this wish-wash of just, oh my god, I'm never gonna get this done because it's so much stuff and there's so much writing, and I constantly get intimidated by the fact that I have to write like an hour worth of script, which is like, I don't even know how many pages that is because I'm still learning how to actually write script genuinely. So that also plays a factor, but one of these days, Filmmakers will happen, and it's still in production, so consider that on the docket, but not very high up, priority-wise, honestly. Like, sure, if I have free time or whatever, I might eventually get around to doing a page or two at a time, but like once it's out of scripting and actually doing filming, that's not even the hard part. And then I gotta edit the entire thing together. So rest assured, you will be hearing about that project again to some capacity. And sure, maybe it's not the hour and a half film that I've been talking about. Maybe it ends up just being a 45-minute short film. Bleh, can't really talk today. Maybe it ends up being a 45-minute short film, but it will be released, and it will be free, and it will be right here on the channel for anybody to want to view. And I really hope you guys are excited to see that, honestly, because like I'm excited to make it, and Dylan's excited to make it, because we've had a lot of back and forths on this. I mean, mostly I've just been doing the script writing, but like he has thrown me ideas, and he's helped out here and there whenever I needed it, so yeah. Alright, that's enough about the movie. Now we're moving on to the mini documentary I was going to make, switching it up, which I really missed an opportunity to call it The Doc, as in like the Switch doc. But yeah, after I bought my Switch, I got really ambitious with that, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to get all these people to come and help me make this just as a passion project. And then I soon realized it does not work that way because voice actors need to be paid, and I'm broke as shit. So, once I realized that I'm not gonna sit here and e-beg people to help me with this thing that I could easily probably do myself with like 20 times the effort and still not probably even get it done, but then I realized that like if I did it all myself, then that wouldn't make as interesting of a product, and I'm sorry I'm not really looking at the camera right now, but I know that wouldn't make as interesting of a product to just simply release like a thing of just me talking about the Switch for a half hour to 45 minutes or so. And, well, everything's kind of got a 45-minute time span here. But, yeah. So basically, I would consider switching it up no longer in production at the moment. Will I ever get around to it? Who's to say, really? But I feel that I really want to do it. And if I had the time and energy to get it done, I would. But at the moment, like, the time just isn't there due to, like, schooling and whatnot. And, like, the energy is there, but, like, not as much as for some other projects. So, once again, like the movie and Skullheim, it's on the docket just very, very low. Which, it falls behind the podcast and the regular weekly Sunday videos, which usually take me anywhere from 2 to 3 days to produce, honestly. Because like I'm coming up with the idea and then like making the video, like recording the footage for it and like writing the script for it. Well, script when usually it amounts to either some bullet points or just a basic idea, and I sit in front of the camera and talk about it. But yeah, that and the podcast have really just kind of taken over my any amount of time that I would have to work on these other projects. And I've kind of cut the podcast down a little bit, like to less of a hour and a half one, down to like a 45-minute one, as I mentioned, like on the show itself. And if you don't really watch the podcast episodes and you haven't really given it a shot, I'd suggest maybe go watch one of those. And I know some people have a problem with like, oh, this video is so long, I'll never get through it. But the idea for that was, because I got complaints about them being too long, so I made them shorter, but that also inadvertently saved me time having to skim through it to edit out like silences and whatnot, and then cutting the beginning and end, and it also saved time in the render, because it didn't take as long to render 45 minutes as it would for like maybe, let's say, an hour and a half worth of footage. Yeah, and it also has a shorter upload time and this and that. So here and there, overall, with these shorter episodes for the podcast, I save like maybe an hour worth of time, which that hour is usually ended up scooted over to the main videos anyway, or just goofing around and not getting anything done. But back on topic, what have I talked about so far? I've mentioned the movie, I've mentioned the podcast and stuff. Mentioned Skullheim. RG Brett, yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to talk about. This is the last thing, and then you can go back to whatever you were doing before you clicked on this video. Or maybe you're just scrolling videos, I don't know. But I digress. RG Brett is still happening. And I don't know if I've talked about it yet, but the green hat has broken. Like it split. Like it ripped down the back. So I'm working on getting a new one that's like a little bit bigger and more fitting to my head rather than like fits to my head rather than like having to be scooted to kind of adjusted to kind of maybe looking like it fit a little bit. Um, and also, on top of that, I've actually got to film a couple more scenes, and then we're moving, so that's also kind of taken up a little bit of my time. The fact that I've kind of been stressing over the fact that I got to get a few scenes in to kind of explain away the fact that, oh, we're in a new house now or whatever. Um, so that means this series is spanned across 3 houses, which is funny. Once we move, it will have anyway. But yeah, I just wanted to make this short video to let you guys know that everything is still going. Skullheim, somewhat maybe in production eventually, but not at the moment. The movie in production definitely, but very, very slow pre-production. RG Brett is in production minus a prop. So we're currently on a delayed production schedule right now for that. And I've fully written the series for RG Brett the rest of the way through, minus the scenes that I would have to make to explain away the fact that we're in a new house, like I said. So that is definitely still in production. So I hope you guys have learned something this video about like stuff that's going on and the fact that some projects that I've just announced over the years are just not coming to fruition because it started to weigh on me a little bit that I'm just, oh, I've got all these things that I say are in the works but actually aren't, and I felt like it's time for me to kind of come out about that and be like, oh, I bit off, and like to finally admit that I'd bit off more than I could chew at the time. Because the way I am is just, I just get really ambitious about a project and I'm like, yeah, I'll have this done in no time, it'll be great. And then 20 minutes later, I just completely am devoid of wanting to do that project anymore. So yeah, I guess that's a thing. I hope you enjoyed this, and we just broke the 12-minute mark, which is neat. I think that says 12 minutes. I'm blind as shit. I can't read that monitor. Um, but yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like if you liked this, or if you have any more questions about like anything revolving the channel, leave them in the comments section below. I'll be sure to give that a look, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.